Brian Doan, 24/7 Sports.
Bobby Darren, 24/7 Sports.
Yeah, and Scarlet Nation. Hey, Bobby, you come aboard. One of the things we've always talked about is how does Rutgers get better in North Jersey recruiting the parochials? And I know it's a question Rutgers coach Chris Ash asked a lot. And when you look at what happened in this offseason, you really see some movement toward that. Look, they always had a good relationship with St. Peter's Prep, but then you look at Bergen Catholic, he goes and hires Nunzio Campanelli to be his running backs coach. Behind the scenes, former Don Bosco coach Drew Lassari, he was down in Florida, he's back up on the staff. Paramus Catholic, Marquise Watson, he's now on the staff working behind the scenes. And DePaul Catholic, John Weiss is behind the scenes working. Do you see the benefit of that? I know it's early, but do you see some early benefits of it?
Yes, and I mean, last weekend was a perfect example. On Friday, you had a lot of visitors come up from the North Jersey, or come down, so I should say, from the North Jersey parochial schools, and that just really hasn't happened in the past. I mean, that many guys on campus at once. How do you get better recruiting those schools? You go out and hire some of the guys that work there, right? And
yeah.
They already have inroads there. And Nunzio Campanelli said today that, you know, I know a lot of these guys in recruiting. He said he grew up playing against some of these coaches. He coached against these coaches. It's not like there's a formal introduction phase.
Right.
It's a, oh, hey, how you doing? I haven't seen you in a while type of phase. And I think that really is gonna help in areas that Rutgers has really struggled.
Well, it is, and you talk about the Good Friday where a lot of the parochial kids came down, and the key part was they brought assistant coaches with them. And look, I know people are going to say St. Joe's Montvale, Augie Hoffman's on that list. Look, they have a good relationship with Augie too. Augie's one of the great guys, and he's always made sure his kids give Rutgers a fair look. And same with St. Peter's Prep with Richie Hansen. That's why we're not really talking about them as much. But you look at, you know, all of a sudden Josh McKenzie's giving Rutgers a really hard look from Bergen Catholic, and it's because of Nunzio. But then you look at Connor Greco, you know, he's from Montvale, and he knows Nunzio, and I know everybody competed against Nunzio and they compete against each other, but it's different. When you compete against somebody really good, you learn not to like them really quickly, but then when they're on your team, you change your tune very quickly. And I look at it, and to me, you know, Chris Conti from DePaul is another guy that you look at, and they've had a decent relationship also with Pope John, where they've sent some kids here. That's why you don't hear us talk about that. But for me, you've now bridged that gap of, well, we don't know many people at that school. Now Rutgers has somebody from each school that they can really reach out to and relate, and to me it's a huge benefit.
And you mentioned Josh McKenzie. A commitment from him, it would be more than just getting a running back. It would be getting into a school where Rutgers hasn't had a presence.
Right.
You know, you go back, John Simmons was the last guy they had there. Cora Badrizi committed here for, you know, a matter of what?
A cup of coffee.
Yeah, a cup of coffee. It might not even have been that long. But they just haven't had success there, and starting that is a sign of growing. People say, how do you grow a program? You're not going to come in and go from 2 wins to 10 wins in 1 year. These are the ways you grow a program, right? You get these players, you establish connections, and these pipelines are going to start filtering guys here on a consistent basis, and you've seen the talent up there. It speaks for itself.
Last thing I'll say about it is everybody's like, okay, Chris Ash is in year 3. Now, he's a first-year coach who did not know the New Jersey landscape well, and he's adjusted. You remember the criticism when he was first hired, well, where's the New Jersey coaches? And there weren't a lot on staff, okay, none. But now there are, and that's part of the learning process. If you're Chris Ash and building a program like Rutgers, you have to learn the nuances. And I give him a lot of credit for understanding that he had to change things to have that impact.
And, you know, it's a great point you make. One of the things I think Chris Ash has done well is learn on the job.
Yeah.
Some coaches will go into situations very hard-headed, rigid, and think they have everything figured out. He's adapted, and I think that's one of the most promising things is when you see that flexibility and that willingness to learn from not only mistakes, but just from experience and growing.